If you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. A famous speech by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a father, a husband, a preacher, a civil rights leader, but most of all, he was a voice. To me, one thing that I admired about him was that he was a person who had no fear. He fought for what he had believed was right, and he continued to do that until the end of his life. One thing that he said that stood out to me was he said, "I might not get there with you, but our people will get to the promised land." And he said, "So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I fear no man." And that was something that to me stood out because he said, "I don't fear any man. We will get to the promised land because his eyes have seen the glory of the Lord's coming." So he continued to fight even though he knew that he wouldn't get to see the end. He wouldn't get to see everything that he's worked for, everything he marched for, everything he believed in. He kept pushing and he kept fighting even though he knew in a way to me that he wouldn't get to see it. Another thing that stood out to me was he said, "I choose love over hate because hate is too big of a burden to carry." So he chose love, and love is such a major thing, and I believe it's something that young people need to start looking into. Another thing is he said, your life begins to end the minute you stop believing in what's right. So he continued to say quotes like his inspirational quotes. He spoke in front of thousands of people to let them know, and that's another thing I admired. He had no fear of getting in front of people and speaking for what he believed was right, not only for him, but for his family and for the people, so he had a purpose, he had a plan, and he continued to work for that purpose and that plan. Another thing he fought for was his beliefs and what he stood up for, and he said that he didn't care how many times he went to jail, it was worth it knowing that he was fighting for what was right. I admire Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because he was a strong man who fought no matter what came his way, no matter how many times he got locked up, no matter how many times people were saying it wasn't worth it, he continued to fight, he continued to march, and to me, that spoke volumes. And young people don't realize that sometimes all it takes is one voice, one person to stand up for not just them, but for everyone. For one person to hear what they have to say. A voice is such a powerful thing, and it goes so far. Martin Luther King Jr., all he did was he used his voice, he used his knowledge, and he used what he believed in, and he kept marching and he kept fighting. So that's one thing that I admire. He kept a voice, a voice, a voice to keep doing what he needed to do to get to where we are, and we are here today because of that voice. So a voice will continue, to me, a voice and speaking out teaches you so much. And it doesn't have to be you, but one person, one voice can change someone's life. It can change the people around them. It can change the people that are looking at them from the outside. A voice is something that no matter what stands for what's right. They choose love over hate. They choose to do what's right over what's wrong. To me, that voice is such a powerful voice, and they continue to fight for what's right.